Good morning everyone. I am Aryan Singh of class 10th D of Uday Pratap Public School Varanasi. I am here to introduce you with the chapter of life processes. Life processes. What did we mean by the life processes? First, what did we mean by the life? The outside feature of life is breathing, movement, growth, reproduction, etc. But the main feature of life, according to the biologist, is molecular movement. The molecular movement. Molecular movement is the movement at very small scale which is invisible to naked eyes. It is also called the movement of the molecule. The need of molecular movement is every living creature should have to repair and maintain their structure, since all the structure is made up from molecules, so it have to movement in the molecules. This movement is called molecular movement. For example, the virus did not show the molecular movement when it is outside of any living organism body. At that time they are non-living, but when they came in any living body they start showing the molecular movement, so that time they called the living. Now we have understood about the life, and now what is the life processes? First, before reading the definition of life processes, we will see the definition of what is the function of what is the maintenance function. Job required for maintaining structure and repairing the body is called the maintenance function, and the life processes are the processes which together perform the maintenance job are called the life processes. The life processes have four parts: nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. Nutrition Nutrition is the process in which transfer a source of energy from outside to inside the body of a living organism. This source of energy may include food, carbon-based molecule, etc. Now, in today's video, we will discuss only about the nutrition process. And the further process we will continue in our next lecture. So the process of nutrition we will start, and the first topic in the process of nutrition is inorganic and organic nutrient. What are the inorganic and organic nutrient? Inorganic substance such as water, CO2 and minerals are known as the inorganic nutrients. Green plant get this inorganic nutrient from the soil and make them starch, which is an organic nutrient. The inorganic nutrient is a free form of energy, and the organic nutrient is a stored form of the energy. We are discussing about the inorganic nutrient and organic nutrient. So here a word, the nutrient. What is the word nutrient means? Nutrient are inorganic as well as organic substance which the organism obtain from their surrounding in order to synthesize their body constituent and use them as a source of energy. And the definition of nutrition is the process of transport a source of energy from outside to inside of a body by obtaining and utilizing the nutrients. This nutrient is the same nutrient we have defined earlier. we have read about nutrition. Now we will discuss the mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition is divided into two parts: autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. First, we will see the autotrophic mode of nutrition. The autotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which organisms synthesize their own organic food by utilizing inorganic raw material present in surrounding. And such organisms which do this process, they are called autotrophs. For example, all green plant are autotrophs. And the second mode of nutrition is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Here the heterotrophic is word divided into two Greek word, hetero and troph. Hetero means other, troph means nutrition. So by this word we can see that the nutrition depended upon other. So the actual definition derived by this word is heterotrophic nutrition is the mode of nutrition in which organisms not made their own organic food but directly or indirectly depended upon the autotroph for nutrition. We also directly or indirectly depended upon the plants for the nutrition. Humans are omnivorous. When they eat plant, it directly depend upon the autotrophs because plant is an autotroph. And when they use flesh, we have written the food web. So it directly or indirectly depend upon the autotrophs. Human do heterotrophic mode of nutrition as we had discussed. So now we will see that how this heterotrophic mode of nutrition is continue in the human body. First, nutrition is divided into four steps. First is ingestion, second is digestion, third is absorption, fourth is assimilation, and fifth is digestion. The ingestion is intake of food from outside to inside of a body. Digestion is the process of converting the complex food into simpler form. Third is absorption is the process of absorbing the digested food. And fourth is assimilation is the process of transferring the absorbed food in the various part of the body. And fifth is the process of digestion is the process of removal of the waste material formed in the process of the digestion. Now we will see the human digestive system, how human digest their food and get energy, and the whole process of nutrition how occur in human beings. So human digestive system is consisted of alimentary canal. Human digestive system is consisted of alimentary canal and some digestive glands. This is the human alimentary canal. Human alimentary canal is a tube-like muscular structure, and these are some digestive glands which secrete some digestive enzyme will help in the process of digestion. We will see the human digestive system by dividing it into 7 parts. The first part is the mouth, second is buccal cavity, third is pharynx gland, fourth is oesophagus, fifth is the stomach, sixth is the small intestine, and seventh is large intestine. Now we will start with the first part, mouth. Mouth is the uppermost opening of human digestive system. It is guarded by 2 soft movable muscular lips and open in a chamber called buccal cavity, which is our second part of the human digestive system. Now we will The process of ingestion take in the mouth and some its process in the buccal cavity. So we will see the buccal cavity. This is the buccal cavity. It is a large funnel shape below the throat and side of the upper and lower jaw, and a muscular tongue work as a floor in the buccal cavity and help in the process of ingestion by transferring the food from one side of the jaw to the another side of the jaw. Human have heterodont and thocodont type of teeth. What is heterodont teeth? It the teeth which divided into four parts, as like human teeth. It is divided into four parts: the incisor, canine, premolar and molar. The incisor, which we use for cutting the food particles; the canine, which we use for tearing the food; premolar, which we use for crushing the food; and molar, which we will use for crushing as well as grinding the food. And second, what is thocodont type of teeth? Thocodont mean thocodont type of teeth means the half most part of the teeth is invisible and embedded inside the jaw. As you can see here, this teeth is half part is embedded inside the jaw, which is invisible for us. And a dental formula is given for the heterodont type of teeth. The dental formula is 2123 divided by 2123. Here the numerator is denoted for the upper jaw and the numerator is denoted for the lower jaw. After the second functional part of the buccal cavity is salivary glands. The buccal cavity have three pair of salivary glands. First, parotid gland, second, sublingual gland, and third, submaxillary gland. The parotid gland lies on the face side of the face. As you can see here, this is the parotid gland, and the second gland, sublingual gland, lie under the front part of the teeth. As you can see here, this is sublingual gland, and the third gland is submaxillary gland, which lies in the angle of the lower jaw. As you can see here, this is the third gland. So first pair is this parotid gland, second sublingual gland, and third is submaxillary gland. This all gland secretes a fluid called saliva. The saliva contains water, salt, mucin, and salivary amylase, which is also called ptyalin, and lysosome. The salivary amylase or ptyalin work for split the starch into maltose sugar, and the lysosome kills the bacteria. So saliva do the first part of digestion by splitting the starch into maltose sugar, and lysosome kill all the bacteria which come from by the food from outside to inside of the mouth. The first functional part of the buccal cavity was the teeth, and the second was salivary gland, and the third functional part of the buccal cavity is the our tongue. Tongue is a muscular organ having small buds which called a taste follicle. They are responsible for our taste. We can taste any food by the help of this bird like structure called taste follicle. Here the buccal cavity ended, and the third part of human digestive system is the pharynx. Pharynx is in the back side of the backside of the buccal cavity. It is funnel-shaped vertical canal of 12 centimeter length. It serves as a passageway for food and as well as for oxygen and carbon dioxide. This is the pharynx. It is also called the voice box. Now the fourth part of the digestive system is the oesophagus. So now we will see the oesophagus. This is the oesophagus. It is a long tube like structure responsible for serve food from pharynx to the stomach. This is the stomach and this is the pharynx. This is the oesophagus pipe. It is a pipe-like tubular structure of muscles which help in transfer food from pharynx to the stomach. The lining of this canal have muscle which continuously contract and extract. This rhythmical movement is called peristaltic movement, which help in passing the food from pharynx to the stomach. This oesophagus is about 25 centimeters long and lies in the front of vertebral column and behind the trachea. And this place where the oesophagus join with the stomach, this lining where the esophagus join with the stomach called the gastroesophagus junction. What? The gastroesophagus junction. After 1 minute I will tell why it is called the gastroesophagus junction. First, the sphincter muscles of the esophagus. The esophagus is divided into two types of sphincter muscles. First is upper esophagus sphincter muscles. It is here. The upper esophagus sphincter muscle is at this point of pharynx, and the joining of pharynx and the esophagus is called upper esophagus sphincter muscles. It works as a barrier between esophagus and pharynx which prevent air to pass into the stomach. When we breathe, the air come in the pharynx and this upper esophagus sphincter work as a barrier by a leaf to do not let the air inside the stomach. And the second sphincter muscle lies at the gastroesophagus junction. It work as a barrier between the lower end of stomach and the lower end of upper end of stomach and the lower end of esophagus. It prevent the passing of gastric juice backward in the direction of the mouth. If the gastric acid go back, it will cause the ulcer in the esophagus and mouth as well as. Now we will discuss the structure of the esophagus. The esophagus is structurally divided into four parts. The outermost part of esophagus, the outermost covering of esophagus is called adventitia. It is the outer layer of esophagus and attached with the other gland and other muscles. The second part of esophagus is muscular layer. It is a muscular layer and its name is also muscular layer. It is a circular and longitudinal pulses which help in push down the food by the peristaltic movement. The peristaltic movement occur in this muscular layer. And third layer is submucosa layer. The submucosa layer contained gland which secrete the mucus and make esophagus moist. The third layer is the layer which called submucosa and secrete the mucus and the fourth layer is known as mucosa. The third was submucosa and the fourth is mucosa. The mucosa is the smoothest and innermost layer of the esophagus, help in smoothly passing of the food. It is smoothest because it have mucus which was secreted by some mucosa layer. Now after esophagus there will come the stomach. This is the stomach. Give me 2 minutes, I will clear all other part. This stomach, this is the stomach, this is the stomach. This is a J-shaped muscular organ. As you can see that this is like a J or C-shaped muscular organ, the opposite C-shaped muscular organ, and exactly as the J-shaped muscular organ. We will see it by 2 point of view. First is structural point of view and second is functional point of view. First, the structural point of view. In mammal, the stomach is divided into 3 parts: the cardiac stomach, the pyloric stomach, and the fundic stomach. The cardiac stomach is the starting of stomach, which is joined with the esophagus. This part is known as cardiac stomach, and the pyloric stomach is the last part of stomach. This is the pyloric stomach, and the middle part is called fundic stomach. When stomach is empty, it is lined with fold, so it is called the fundic part of the stomach. Now we will see its functional point of view. The stomach serve 3 main functions. First is storage of food, second is mechanical crushing of food, third is partial digestion. When the food came with esophagus, it is stored in the stomach for a long time. The food mainly stored in stomach for approx 4 hours. It is depend upon what kind of food it is. When it is stored, the HCl is destroying the ptyalin, which is a part of saliva and mixed with the food in the buccal cavity. When HCl destroys this ptyalin or salivary amylase, it starts the digestion, and the storage hour for different food is different. Just like for carbohydrate, store in stomach for 1 or 2 hours, and the protein stored in stomach for 3 hours, and the fats stored in stomach for 3 to 6 hours. So the kind of food is responsible for the time of storage. Second part is mechanical chunking of food. The wall of stomach undergo periodic movement called deglutition. It is a movement of contraction and relaxation by which the food gets shrunk and mixed with the gastric juices. And this process of chunking and mixing with gastric juices is called chyme. So we have see that chyme is the process of mixing and chunking food with the gastric juice. So what is the gastric juice? We will see in the third part of partial digestion. The partial digestion. Stomach have stomach have 3 glands which combinedly secrete a gastric juice. The gastric juice conclude HCl, hydrochloric acid, pepsin, mucus, renin, and gastric lipase. The gastric juice is light yellow in the color. The HCl, which is the part of gastric juice. Full form of HCl is hydrochloric acid. HCl is an acid, so it makes the food medium acidic, by which the ptyalin is a base, the salivary amylase is a base, get destroyed when it is contact with the acid, and all the harmful bacteria come with the food and do not get destroyed with the lysosome in the saliva, destroy here by the hydrochloric acid. The hydrochloric acid is secreted by oxygenating cell present in the wall of the stomach. You can see here many type of cell is present. Here the oxygenating cell secrete the HCl, hydrochloric acid. Now second is pepsin. It acts only in the acidic medium. When hydrochloric acid release, it make the food medium acidic. The pepsin work. If HCl is not, then the pepsin will also not work. The pepsin is secreted by the zymogen cell. As the HCl secreted by the oxygenatic cell, the pepsin is secreted by the zymogen cell. As we know, it is act only in acidic medium and break down the it help in break down the protein in simpler form of peptones. The simpler form of protein is known as peptone, which is break by these pepsins. And the third part is mucus found in the inner lining. You can see here this blue type of color inside the stomach. This is the mucus. When the hydrochloric acid release, HCl is acid, so it can burn our stomach. This mucus protect inner wall of stomach from these acids, the pepsin, the HCl. From this all acid, it protect the inner wall of stomach. Now fourth is renin, which is secreted, which is part of the gastric juice. Renin, it change protein dissolved in the milk, which is also called casinogen, into a solid protein called casein or calcium peroxidate. It means that the casinogen protein, which is dissolved in the milk, changed by the renin into a solid type of protein called casein, and casein is also known as calcium peroxidate. And fifth part of gastric juice is gastric lipase. It break the lipids. Its gastric lipase main function is break down the lipids. Now here the functional and structural point of view of stomach is ended. Now our sixth part is the small intestine. The small intestine. We will also see the small intestine in two point of view, structural point of view and functional point of view. The structural point of view we will see first. Now I am going to hide the other part of the body, so give me 2 minutes. Small intestine. It is the longest part of alimentary canal. You can see it is the longest part of alimentary canal. It is fully coiled tube. Its approx length is 6 meter, and its length varies in carnivorous and herbivorous. In herbivorous animals, the length of small intestine is larger in compared to carnivorous, because herbivorous have to digestion of cellulose, which need a large small intestine for the reaction with the acid. The small intestine is also divided into three parts. The duodenum. This part is known as the duodenum, which is contact with the stomach. The second part is known as jejunum, and the third part is known as ileum. The part duodenum contain intestinal gland, which is also known as crypt of Liber Kuhn, and some duodenal glands, which is also known as Burner gland. With the duodenal gland produce alkaline mucus. Now we will see the inner line of this small intestine. This is the small intestine. When we see its inside structure, it is like that. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Inside lining formed, this finger-like projection is called the villi. It helps in increasing the surface area for the process of absorption. Uh, there is a space between this villi. Here, the crypt of Lieberkühn are intestinal gland present. Now we will see the functional point view of the small intestine. The wall of small intestine. The inside wall of the small intestine is made up from lymphatic tissue, which is also called Peyer's patches. Now the functional point of view is the food which get some digestion in the stomach is come in small intestine by the help of sphincter muscles at the pyloric end. We had discussed about three part of stomach. The pyloric part of stomach is the ending part, the funding part, and the cardiac part. At the pyloric part, this is sphincter muscles, which leads the existence of food from stomach to the small intestine. And the food was acidic in the stomach, by which pepsin can work, but here in the small intestine the glands work in the alkaline medium. So the further direction will we continue in the alkaline medium. This changement of the acidic medium into alkaline medium is led by a common duct formed by the union of liver and pancreas and are bile and pancreatic duct. The bile duct secrete the bile juice. What is the bile juice? Bile juice, it is secreted by liver, which is stored in the gallbladder. After secretion of this bile juice, it is stored in the gallbladder. The normal daily secretion of bile juice is about 600 million in a healthy person, ml, sorry. Bile is alkaline in medium, so its pH value is 7.8 to 8.6, and it turned the yellow litmus paper into green. The bile kill the harmful organism, come with food and do not get destroyed with the HCl, will destroy here by the bile juice. The bile juice contain water, bile pigment, bile salt. Now we will see the ratio of this water, bile pigment and bile salt. Water have 85% of the bile juice. Second is bile pigment is only 12% of the bile juice. It haven't any enzymes. Bile pigment have not any enzymes, so it do not do any type of reaction. The third is bile salt. It is only 3% of the whole bile juice. It contains sodium glyco chocolate and sodium taro chocolate, and the bile salt help in emulsification of the fat. It break down the big fat molecule into small globules, which and it is alkaline in medium, so it make the food alkaline, which help the pancreatic juice for its work. Now we will see the work of pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice, it is secreted by pancreas, and the pancreas is elongated yellowish gland. Pancreas is both endocrine as well as exocrine gland. We have studied the endocrine gland and exocrine gland in the class 8th. Exocrine region of the pancreas secretes sodium bicarbonate and digestive enzymes, and the endocrine region secretes the hormone, insulin and glucagon. The bicarbonate secreted by exocrine region make the medium alkaline, and which is better for work of the enzyme secreted by exocrine region. There are three type of enzymes are secreted by exocrine regions. First is trypsin, second is amylase, third is lipase. The trypsin is inactive normally, but when contact with alkaline medium, it convert into trypsin. Before it is a trypsinogen. The work of trypsin, it change the protein and peptone in polypeptides and amino acid. Second, amylase, it break down the starch. Third was lipase, the enzyme lipase, it convert the emulsified fat which has been emulsified in the stomach into glycerine and fatty acid and break down the lipase. The pH value of the pancreatic juice is 7.5 to 8, so it is alkaline, and the daily secretion of pancreatic juice is about 1.2 to 1.5 liter. Now the third is intestinal gland, which is also called crypt of Lieberkuhn. It secretes the intestinal juice, which is also called succus entericus. It is secreted by crypt of Lieberkuhn as we discussed. It is yellow fluid and slightly alkaline nature. It is alkaline, so it has pH value of 7.6. It contains water, mucus and enzyme for complete digestion of carbohydrate, fat, protein and nucleic acid. I will show you the pancreas. Give me 1 minute. I was forgetting to show you the above. This is the liver. This is also the part of liver. It secretes the bile juice, and after its secretion, this is a green part called gallbladder. Here the bile juice is stored, and this part, this leaf part is called pancreas. It secretes the pancreatic juice. And the pancreas and gallbladder combinedly create a duct which go in this duodenum part. Now second part is jejunum. Jejunum have intestinal gland, crypt of Lieberkuhn, which secretes succus entericus, which is also called intestinal juice. It is alkaline, so having pH value of 7.6 and contain water, mucus, enzymes for the complete digestion of carbohydrate, fat, protein and jejunum. Here in jejunum, the full digestion of food is held. The daily secretion of intestinal juice is about 2 to 3 liter. In intestinal juice, there are five type of enzymes. First, erepsin. It converts the protein and peptone in amino acid. The left protein, which is not convert in the peptone, and the peptones into amino acid. The maltose. Second, the maltase, which maltase convert the maltose sugar, which was formed in the buccal cavity by the saliva, convert into glucose. Third is sucrose enzyme. It converts sucrose into glucose and fructose. Fourth is lactase enzyme. It converts the lactase in glucose and galactose. And the fifth is lipase enzyme, which convert emulsified fat into glycerine and fatty acid. Now the all food is digested in this part of jejunum. The end product of the digestion is carbohydrate is changed into monosaccharide, protein is changed into amino acid, fat is changed into fatty acid and glycerol, nucleic acid is changed into nitrogenous base, pentose sugar and phosphoric acid. After this, the part comes ileum. It do the work of process of absorption. Give me 1 minute, I will show the inside part of this ileum. All the end products of the carbohydrate, fat, protein, nucleic acid are soluble in the water, so very easily absorbed by the blood capillaries present in the intestine. This is the inner part of intestine. I will show you the blood capillaries. This is the blood capillaries, and we have discussed about this. This is the villi. And one more thing about villi is that the villi is present in the whole small intestine. In the duodenum it is like a leaf shape. In jejunum it like a tongue like structure, and in the ileum it like a finger like structure, and the process of absorption is mainly done by this finger like structure. The villi contain two type of capillaries, blood capillaries and lacteals. These are the blood capillaries, and this yellow part is lacteals. The blood capillaries absorb all monosaccharide, amino acid, vitamin, mineral, salt and water. And this lacteals absorb all the fatty acid, glycerol, monosaccharides, soluble lipids and vitamins. Here the process of absorption is completed. Some small part of absorption is left which will cover in the large intestine. So come in the large intestine, give me 1 minute. This is the large intestine. We also see its structural point of view. Large intestine is much shorter than small intestine and more wider than small intestine. It is also divided into three parts. The give me 1 second please. The large intestine. This is the large intestine. You can see that the first part is caesium, and the second part is colon. This all is the colon, and the third part is the rectum. The first part, caesium, is very spacious in the herbivorous, but in human it is short and having a small bag like structure called appendix. In human it is about 3 inch long. The inflammation of this appendix causes appendicitis. If inflammation means the swelling of this appendix causes the appendicitis disease. The appendix is made up of lymphatic tissue like papillary patches. The colon calcium. The calcium absorb the water and secrete mucus for lubrication in the undigested food for flow easily. The second part is colon. These all three are colons. The colon is the greatest gland. It is the greatest part of the large intestine, which absorb water, salt and secrete mucus for lubrication and for easily flowing. The third part is rectum. Colon is followed by 15 to 20 centimeter long vertebral column called rectum. It is 15 to 20 centimeter long approx. It absorbs water, salt. Its main function is absorption of water, salt, as the whole large intestine have, and it have one specific function is to provide or give the phases to undigested food. In the colon the whole absorption process get completed. From the rectum the process of egestion is started. Undigested food had getted the shape. Now the anal. This is rectum. This is also rectum. This is anal pore. It is of 2 to 5 centimeter long. It exits the facial material by an opening called anal sphincter. This is anal sphincter and this hole is anal. And the last, fifth process of assimilation. After digestion the food get absorbed in the villi, go into the blood from the blood capillaries and move through the blood stream and go into all the cell. cell the digest food, and do two type of work: building the component of cell and tissue, or break down by catabolic process to release energy. We will discuss the catabolic process in our next videos. Thanks for listening me.